His wife stood in the doorway, arms folded. She didn't stop him. She never stopped him.
The princess was supposed to bond with Kruger, not with you!
I was 8 years old. I didn't understand what I'd done wrong. All I did was play with a girl in a garden. The royal family was visiting. The whole house was in a panic. Mrs. Marin had spent 3 days preparing Kruger. New clothes, new haircut. She rehearsed his bow 40 times.
The princess is your age, Kruger. Be charming. Be confident. Your father and the king are close friends. This could be the beginning of something wonderful.
But nobody prepared me. I was in the kitchen polishing silver when I heard a voice behind me.
Why are you back here all alone?
I turned. A girl my age. Big, curious eyes. A little gold crown tilted sideways on her head. I didn't know she was a princess. I just thought she looked kind.
I'm cleaning.
She grabbed my hand.
That's boring. Come play with me.
She just pulled me out the back door and into the garden. We chased fireflies through the old oak trees. She tripped in the grass and laughed so hard she couldn't stand up. I showed her the birds that nested in the branches above us. No one had laughed with me in a long time. Not since my parents were forcefully taken away from me to an undisclosed location. Then Kruger found us. His face went red before he even opened his mouth.
Princess, my mother says you should come inside now. I have new toys to show you.
No, thank you. I like it out here. Carl is funny.
Kruger's jaw clenched. Then he turned and ran inside. I knew there'd be trouble, but I didn't care. Not right then. Because then she said something I never forgot.
Carl, when we grow up, will you marry me?
My heart stopped.
But I'm nobody. And you're a princess.
She tilted that crooked little crown back into place and shrugged.
So, I like you better than all the somebodies.
I didn't say yes. I just smiled. Then she smiled back. Then my master's hand closed around my collar and dragged me inside.
Pack what you own. I've arranged work for you in the mines. You leave at dawn.
The mines were 3 days' journey from everything I'd ever known. I had a single bag, one change of clothes, a photograph of my parents I wasn't supposed to have. I was 8 years old. I didn't understand yet what had been done to me. That came later. There was an old foreman in the deep shafts, a man who had known my parents before they died, or so I believed. One night, 6 months in, he sat down beside me in the dark and told me the truth. My parents weren't servants. They were guardians of the realm. While I thought both my parents were killed, he told me that they defended the kingdom when I was 6. My father died in the mines due to a sickness that spread through the deep shafts like a curse, killing men from the inside out. But my mother, she was still alive, still somewhere in those tunnels, waiting. Not for rescue, for a letter, for proof that her son had grown into something. Something worth the suffering, something capable of avenging what had been done to them both. They had left me everything. Gold, enchanted weapons, rare artifacts. My master had taken me in, not out of kindness. He was managing my inheritance. The gold, the artifacts, the power that ran through my bloodline, all of it had been quietly drained and poured into Kruger for years. His tutors, his robes, his abilities. Everything he was, he had been built from what was mine. Everything that was mine became his. Everything except what had been hidden for me to find. 20 minutes left on my shift. I found it wedged into a crack in the tunnel wall. A golden egg, pale and warm, glowing faintly in the dark like it had been holding its breath for years. And beside it, half buried in the same crack in the rock, a bundle of old papers. Worn soft at the folds, some edges missing entirely. I took both without fully understanding why. Back in my small cave at the edge of the mine, I spread the papers out by lamplight. Old language. Diagrams I couldn't fully understand at first, but enough. Enough to piece together what they were describing. My parents had left this, not by accident, not by luck. They had placed it here, knowing one day I would find my way to these mines, knowing I would be the only one who could. Beastmasters were real. They didn't train their creatures. They bonded with them through something older, something that couldn't be taught, or bought, or inherited by the wrong person. They were the ones who stood between the kingdom and the things that wanted to destroy it. The texts described the egg, described the mark that would follow, described the bond that formed the instant a true Beastmaster made contact. I set the papers down and looked at the egg. It cracked before I could reach for it. The bird that came out was smaller than my fist, cream-colored, wet. a stubborn little head crest that stuck up at a funny angle no matter what he did with it. He looked straight up at me. Something locked between us, quiet and complete, like a door finding its frame. Then I noticed the mark, a 3-claw burn forming on my forearm, fresh, raised, exactly as the texts had described. The egg had not ended up in those tunnels by chance. It had been waiting for me to be ready to find it. I looked at the bird on my shoulder. He looked back. I named him Hawk. A few years went by. My enrollment window for the Lithium Beast Academy closed in 4 days. Hawk and I walked out of those tunnels together and didn't look back. The Lithium Beast Academy accepted us, though barely. Commander Voss met us at the gate himself, a broad man, iron-gray hair, eyes that measured you in seconds and rarely liked what they found. He looked at Hawk perched on my arm, then looked at me.
This is your beast?
Yes, sir. He studied Hawk for a long moment. The wing had healed crooked. His feathers were still patchy from the years underground.
Combat strength?
10 out of 100, sir. Voss said nothing, just turned and walked inside. I took that as permission to follow. I entered the academy hall with Hawk on my shoulder and 600 cadets laughing at my existence. Voss raised his hand to the crowd. Quiet! The laughter stopped instantly. He turned back to me. I've assessed 600 cadets, son. I know what I'm looking at. And right now I'm looking at a boy with no recorded combat skills, no mana output, no defensive capabilities, and an ability class that doesn't appear anywhere in the academy registry. Beastmaster. He glanced at Hawk on my shoulder, my pet, my one and only friend. He tilted his head at Voss and puffed his chest out. I'm Hawk. I bite. That was his introduction to the commander of the academy. But Kruger cupped his hands around his mouth. Carl's dumb little bird is getting rowdy. Somebody get the zookeeper a leash. I felt a pulse of fury through the bond, Hawk's whole body coiling to spring. I caught him with my hand and held him against my shoulder. Hawk, no. Just one eye? One eye, Carl! No. Voss didn't so much as blink. Confiscate the animal. 2 armored guards marched out carrying electric containment nets, blue arcs crackling between the mesh. Hawk pressed against my neck. Through the bond, I could feel his heartbeat racing. Carl? Why do the big people have nets? Carl? He didn't understand what was happening. Voss straightened. All cadets dismissed. Staging for the field exercise commences at 1300. Clear the room. Now. 600 chairs scraped at once. Nobody looked at me on the way out. When the last footsteps faded, the guards were still standing there with their nets crackling, waiting. Voss pulled 2 forms from his file and set them on the table. Just him, 2 guards, and me. I'm going to give you 2 options to stay enrolled at this academy, Carl, and I want you to think very carefully before you answer. He slid the first form across the table. Option 1, give up the bird. Hawk gets turned over to the Academy's Beast Research Division for study. You train with a standard issue blade. Weapons track cadet by this afternoon. There's no shame in that. He tapped the second form. Option 2, full combat evaluation. Today. If you can't pass the preliminary round, there's no point running the full battery. He looked at me like he was doing me a favor by being honest. Pass both the prelims and the forest evaluation, and I'll allow you to keep the bird. Fail, and you're expelled. Labor Corps. I felt my face turn white. Voss leaned back. You understand what Labor Corps means, right? I understood exactly what it meant. The mines. The same mines I grew up in. The same ones my father went into one morning and never came home from. Succeeding at the academy was my only way out. My only chance to earn enough to get my mother out too. Voss was getting impatient. The smart move was to take the blade. Lose Hawk but keep the academy without having to undergo the combat evaluation. But Hawk would be gone. He'd become academy property, and I'd become just another weapons track nobody. Rich kids like Kruger got gifted rare beasts by their wealthy parents before they could even walk. But nobody forced Hawk to bond with me. He hatched from that egg, looked at me, and chose me. When I was nothing, when I had nothing, a baby bird decided I was worth something. I shook my head. I wasn't going to let them take him. Voss tapped the 2 forms on the table. What'll it be, Carl? Weapons track or the combat evaluation? Choose! I stuttered. I'll take the tests. Noted. Voss nodded to the guards. Surrender your beast, Carl. He'll be held in Academy custody until the evaluation is complete. I reached up and took Hawk off my shoulder myself, before the guards could touch him. He screeched, twisting in my hands, trying to get back to my neck. No! Carl, no! Don't let them! I'll be good! I'll be so good! I held him for one more second, his whole body trembling against my palms. I'll be back for you, Hawk. I promise. His voice got very small. You promise? Then I handed him to the handler. They sealed him in the containment unit. Hawk beat his wings against the walls, and each time a feather touched the mesh, it sparked. It felt like someone had ripped a part of me out of my chest. The bond went thin and cold, and the world got a little darker. I watched them carry my only friend toward the door. I had never felt so helpless in my life, not even in the mines. But Hawk needed me. I wasn't going to let myself fail. Oh good, the zookeeper actually showed up. Thought you'd take the blade. Kruger was already in the yard when I arrived, arms crossed, axe on his back, grinning as he'd already won. Voss stood between us, folder open, expression flat. Direct comparative evaluation. Both cadets, same tests, same time. He didn't look up. Strength, speed, reactions, endurance. The highest score advances to the forest exercise. Lowest score, he paused, goes home. Kruger cracked his knuckles and looked at me sideways. Try not to cry, sound. Light targets blinked on across the pylons. Kruger's eyes sharpened. Mine widened. Tag them in sequence, Voss said. Fastest, accurate hits win. The first light flashed. Kruger was already moving. 1 strike, 2, 3, clean, sharp, perfect. My turn came. I reached for the first target. It vanished. Another lit up behind me. I spun too late. I missed 10 out of 12 targets in 30 seconds, while Kruger hit all 12 under 10 seconds. He looked at me with disgust and said, "You can't even hit lights, zookeeper." Voss raised his hand for the final round. Endurance! Kruger stepped into the rune circle first. The rune circle locked around our feet. A pressure field slammed down over the ring. Kruger rolled his shoulders like he'd been waiting for this one. I braced myself. The resistance began. 8 seconds later, I was wetting my pants with the pressure of the rune. Kruger held his position for the full duration. Golden energy stabilized every muscle, grinning the entire time. When the timer ended, he wasn't even breathing hard. The crowd cheered again. He looked down at me like I was something he'd scraped off his boot. Pathetic, he said. And they let you into the academy? Voss finally closed the folder. I've seen enough. My stomach sank. He looked from Kruger to me, then back again. Kruger passes. Carl fails. The words landed like a hammer. Kruger's grin widened. Kruger crouched beside me with a grin. You don't belong here. Then he leaned closer. And when they cut your bird open in the lab, I want to watch. My heart pounded hard, and I walked out of the yard. This is it, I thought.
To find out what happens next, download the